Some of the associates at Healthy Mind Psychology have neuropsychological background, so that's specialty training in the brain and how brain systems influence the body altogether. I go a lot with my patients into concepts of the neuropsychology of their emotions and understanding. I feel that this is really helpful for people to understand the neurological underpinnings of the emotions that they're experiencing and how thoughts work. There's so much that happens on a subconscious level. And people hear that word subconscious and they sometimes think it sounds a bit hippie. And what I mean is actually subcortical, which is a part of the brain that is outside of our conscious awareness. When we go about our day-to-day experiences, our senses are constantly taking in information around us. They're going up into our system, through our spinal cord, into the brainstem, and into the limbic system. The brainstem is there for all our major functions of life, but that includes our reactions. So if something very significant is happening that our brain knows we must react to, it is done instantaneously, such as reaching out for fire and immediately pulling back. But after that, all this information will go into the thalamus, which is the sensory relay system in the limbic system. In that sensory relay, all that sensory information is processed. It's right next to the hippocampus, which is an area of the brain that stores memory. So that information is going to go through that memory store and see if there's anything familiar about it. And if there's anything threatening there, it'll automatically hit the amygdala, which is the threat center, the fight or flight response. That will send a surge of adrenaline, cortisol, and have us get that response to whatever it is that we are experiencing around us. The reason that all of this is relevant is what it's saying is that at any point we have all of this reaction that's happening to our body and to our emotion states that happens before it reaches conscious awareness, which is why we might suddenly feel things or experience even physical reactions and we don't necessarily even know why. This is important information because it helps somebody understand that they only have a certain amount of control over what I call a primary reaction to what's happening around us. Now, this is key in psychology because though we may not be able to control our primary reactions, we can have a reaction to the primary, what I call the secondary reaction. And that's what we have a huge amount of control over. So that may be that every single person who walks into a new scenario, let's say a room full of people, will have a very different primary response based off of a huge amount of history. That's that memory store of the hippocampus. All the previous experiences that then lead to that moment and that person walking into that room will help create a primary response that's different for each individual. Some may find this a great thing, some might find it hugely anxiety provoking. But whatever that case will be, psychology will help us understand what that might be and how we then respond to that primary reaction in a way that feels much more adaptive and healthy for what it is that we're trying to get out of our experiences.